And I was like, I can't. This happens in relationships with sex. This happens in relationships with not being loved or understood. This happens in businesses with people having buyer's remorse. Oh, I haven't slept in 6 months. My kids are driving me insane. I don't know how to do anything. I'm sick and boogers are coming out everywhere. Like all this other stuff's happening. Following the thread. What this is a skill set to help you connect to people, help you communicate. So we did the likability, right? Now we're going to talk more about the communication. And with that, the likability and understanding are all in following the thread. So following the thread happened years ago when I really sucked at selling. Like this was like 10 years ago. And I was terrible at sales. Sales scared me so bad that I would shake. My physical body would shake because I was terrified to bring up anything associated with money. And it was so bad, I'd be working on somebody and I had the thought like, I need to sell to this person because I would do these free demos and I would work on them and they'd be like, this is amazing. And the logical thing was then to lead them to the next thing. But my logic and emotions were disconnected back then. So I was like, okay, I need to sell to make money to feed my family. Like I just got married. My wife was sick in bed. I had less than, I think it was at that time we had less than $1,000 in the bank account. And I had just created an $800 program to go through my massage and get like 10 sessions. And it was this epic thing. And I was like so excited for it. I was like, I could see people flooding to me. Like I'm going to be wealthy. And then I'm working on somebody doing a demo and they're like, this changed my life. And then I'm like, okay, dialogue. And then I'm thinking, I need to enroll them into the next level of the thing so that they can like give me money. And all I could say is, all right, because they're like, yeah, thanks, Tyler. That was so awesome. Like they wanted more. They were even trying to ask me. And I totally pushed them away. And it was really sad because I just had so much fear, so much anxiety about my past. And she's there. I work on her. She gets up. She was just so grateful. She's like, this was amazing. This changed like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And yeah, just let me know when you have a next thing or when you're going to do it again. And I'm like, wait, I'm supposed to ask this one question to help her like give me $800 so that she'll be on a consistent thing. And I just look at her and I'm like, okay, thanks. I'll see you later. And I just like wave. And I felt like horrible in that moment because I knew I needed to do the thing that I was taught. I was like, why didn't I just do it? Like, why didn't I just ask her the way that I learned to do it? And I literally like didn't have anybody after that. So I just shut the door and I just had a pity party. I just literally cried and I was in my room and I was like, God, I feel like I can't talk about money. I am terrible at this. I know I'm supposed to be a provider and my wife's sick and I got to do this and I am just terrible. Like I cannot do this and I don't even know how. And I feel like I'm the worst salesperson in the world and I can't make money. And I just felt so bad. Like I'm a terrible husband. I can't provide. And I was just done. And I was like mad at myself. It's like, how come I can't just snap out of it? Like, do it. Just do it. And I was like, I can't. And so I cried that day, went home with my smile. Hey, hon, how's it going? Life's good. Hey. And just continued. But it hurt me enough to get me to want to change. And I learned about this process called following the thread. And it was how to ask the question to really understand somebody. Because I was trying to get what I wanted, which was to get a sale. And I wasn't trying to get her what she wanted, which was relief. So I felt manipulative. Manipulation is getting people to do what you want when they don't really want to or need to. That's manipulation. Persuasion is different than manipulation. I love to persuade. I do not manipulate. Manipulation is trying to get people to do what, so if it would be like this. So if I was with Pam here and I wanted to manipulate Pam, then I would try to get Pam to do something beneficial for me, but not beneficial for her. So that's the epitome of a narcissist, right? So it's me trying to get her to do something to please me, to improve my ability, maybe pay me money that's going to damage her, that's going to hurt her, that's not going to help her, that she doesn't really want, but I'm going to try to get her to do that thing. This happens in relationships with sex. This happens in relationships with not being loved or understood. This happens in businesses with people having buyer's remorse. That's called manipulation. So a big difference is persuasion is getting that person to do what they want. I am very good at persuading, but I can only persuade if I know what you want. So if I know what Pam wants, I'm going to do everything in my power to help her get what she wants. I'm going to persuade her till the day that I die to help her get what she wants. Now, hopefully, what I want and what she wants is towards the same direction. That's when you really have good relationships. When each of you are going somewhere and you are helping each other get there. And it's beneficial for both parties. So in my marriage, it's like, hey, I want my wife to feel heard, loved, and understood. So if I can do whatever I can to get her to feel loved, heard, and understood, I too will get what I want, right? And what I want is to help her get what she wants and also get what I want. So then we're going together on a trajectory to create that. To follow the thread helps us do that. So that lady in the massage, she actually wanted more. So I was afraid to be manipulative, but I didn't know how to be persuasive. And I was afraid my persuasion was manipulation. So therefore, instead of doing anything, I did nothing. And then I felt like a loser because I felt out of integrity. I felt like I let the person down because I knew she would suffer more because I didn't do what I needed to do, which was to call her to action, help her do something that she wanted to do. But I didn't offer. I could see she was hungry, but I didn't give her the food. Okay? Following the thread, asking, listening, repeating, relating. I learned this and I had to practice at a Barnes & Noble. I love Barnes & Noble. It's my favorite store. I actually really love Barnes & Noble. And I actually just went there to practice following the thread back in the day, which caused some trauma, and I'm surprised I still love Barnes & Noble, but I worked through it. So I went there and I was like, I'm going to talk to people. I don't like talking to people. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And so I asked and listened and repeated and related. And the first time was at Barnes & Noble. And there's this dude like in the history section, which back then I hated history. And then I met my wife who loves history. And now I love history. And so back then, though, I didn't like history. And I was like, oh, he's in the history section. It's the only guy in here. So I'm like walking up to this old guy and he's in he's literally like pulling out books and looking at them. And I just walk up to him awkwardly and I'm standing there and I'm thinking, okay, I need to like follow the thread. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? Like, and he's standing there and he like looks at me and he looks back to the book. He doesn't even answer. And I'm like, all right. I like walk off. I'm like, well, that sucked. That was a defeat. And I felt so embarrassed. I was like, man, I can't even like strike up a conversation with a human being. I'm so bad. And so I tried this like 3 or 4 times. And I was like, I am not leaving here until I have a win. I've got to like do something where I feel good. So about 3 or 4 others turned about the same. And then finally, like this other couple, this old couple came in and they're like looking through gifts. And I love kids. And so they're looking through all these like gifts and stuff for kids. And guess what? Likability. I started to talk about something that I liked. Interesting that I tried to connect somewhere where I didn't like and it turned into a disaster. So as soon as I connected on something that I liked, they opened up and they talked about Christmas gifts and all this cool stuff. And we talked for like 6, 7, 8 minutes. And I just asked, listened, repeated, related. Asked, listened, repeated, related. And what happened was so cool. I felt like this connection between them, that I understood them, that they understood me. And I remember just thinking, like, I did it. Like, I actually had a normal conversation with a human being. I know that sounds really weird, but I was the kid that used to be on the bus that would like look out the bus and not talk to a soul. So this was like a huge win for me. I was known as the shy kid. I was known as like nobody. My sister was like the outgoing party girl. I was like the brother of her. So that was me. So I was not who I am today, which might seem like I'm more extroverted. So I have changed a lot because all those were patterns and vibrational frequencies and energy, and anybody can change anything. So as I learned to follow the thread, I then practiced with my mom. I practiced with my family. I practiced with clients. And through this process, I don't think there's ever been a sale back then. So I accumulated probably over $1 million plus in 3 years following the thread. And most of the people bought from me because they said, you know why I'm going to buy from you? And I've been looking at like 6, 7 different coaches. You're the first one that's actually asked me and listened to me. All these others are pushing their agenda, they're pushing their program, and you're the only one that actually cares about what I want. And I was like, really? Like, that's first off awesome, but that sucks that nobody else is really doing this, like connecting to human beings. So if you want to thrive as an entrepreneur, thrive in your relationships, follow the threads where it's at. Imagine each person is like a tapestry, okay? On one side of the tapestry, if you think about a tapestry, it's a beautiful picture, right? But on the back of the tapestry, it's a bunch of gnarly threads. It doesn't really look very good at all, right? So on the front, beautiful. And that's how people are. Right here is what we want people to see. We brush our hair, put on our stuff, we make ourselves look good. We're like, I'm an entrepreneur. And then we try to put on this personification that will put off our best. It's like, this is who we are. I'm successful. And then inside, sometimes we're like the gnarly threads. Oh, I haven't slept in 6 months. My kids are driving me insane. I don't know how to do anything. I'm sick and boogers are coming out everywhere. Like all this other stuff's happening. And we're like, wait, but I got to hold on to this, who I should be, right? And so the goal is I want to get to know the threads that make up that tapestry. Because if I can do that, I'll get to know you really well. And when I get to know you, we can help change your life. And not only that, but we'll feel connected. And that's what we're here for, right? We want to feel heard. We want to feel understood. We want to be connected with our loved ones. So following the thread is key. I also believe this is the solution to suicide. Me, back when I was 12, I went through a time where I wanted to commit suicide multiple times a day for about 8 years. And didn't tell anybody. No one knew how to follow my thread. So my mom would ask, hey, Tyler, how are you doing? And I'd say, I'm fine. I'm okay. She'd be like, okay, all right. Well, don't know what to do now, but all right. But what was behind the word okay? Fine. What it was a whole slew of threads that if somebody asked, listened, repeated, related, I could open up. I could feel safe enough to communicate my actual feelings, which was, well, part of me feels like it's all my fault that you guys got a divorce and I don't feel good enough and I feel like I contributed to it and I feel like I want to end my life every day and I don't want to admit that because I feel like I have to be the perfect son and I'm actually like trying to get straight A's in school so that you can feel proud of me so that I don't disappoint you because I feel like everything that you guys have been through is a disappointment that reflects me as the oldest son, and I feel like my sister went off the edge and so now I'm the only one supposed to hold the family together, and if I don't, then I'm going to be responsible for everybody's insanity. And it's my job to save everybody. And I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to like stuff it and pretend that everything's okay. That's what was underneath that word. I'm fine.
I'm fine. Totally fine.
So I believe we all need to practice following the thread, getting good at it. Very good. Amazing at following the thread. Phenomenal at following the thread.
Hey, what's up? I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you would like to learn more about what you just experienced or watched, then in the description, I actually have written a book called The Alignment Effect. And in the book, we go in details of how to align and the power inside of you. So if you'd like to learn how to get results a lot faster and reprogram not just your mind, but your cellular memory, then check out the description and grab that book called Alignment Effect. It will completely alter how you think and live your life.
Was it me? No, it was each and every one of you. So we all chose to do that. No one forced you. No one made you. You chose, which is freaking awesome.